I know a lot of people remember from back in the day when you was in school and you used to play spoon fights, right? Or you used to play pencil fights where you sling it back and it sounds like this every time it hits. Man, I swear on everything, boy, that smack sounded so damn loud, bro. On God.
Hold down, man. Suitcase this, my cell phone, and my charger. Don't walk with a limp. Get it knocked off or missing, you gon' get it. Next time I see your ass, you gon' leave airlifted.
What's up, everybody? You already know, man. Kfrogtv back in the building. Y'all do me that solid favor, hit that like, subscribe button, and make sure you hit the notification bell so you can see it first. I want to tell everybody thank you for watching another episode of my channel, and we getting there. Slowly but surely, we climbing. For this video here, I'm gonna be speaking on an incident that took place while I was locked up in Florida State Prison, and I'm gonna be telling y'all how that shit went down from my point of view. And boy, woo-wee, it was a good one. It was a good experience, all right? Now, y'all seen the title of the video. Today I'm gonna be talking about when an inmate slapped the dog shit out of a correctional officer, all right? On this particular day, we was inside the library, all right? And the inmate who actually smacked the officer in the mouth, no one there ever seen it coming. You get what I'm saying? Like, this was someone that he felt like wanted to harm a fly. You know what I'm saying? And when it took place, I was shocked because who it was that did it, okay? Now, you know how it is. You ain't supposed to judge a book by the cover and never underestimate anybody. Now, this person that was in there happened to be in the library that day because he was doing some legal work. All right, for those who don't know what legal work is, you know, you get your ass in that law library when you want to file a motion or an appeal, or you may have found a loophole in your case to get you back in front of the judge again, to give some of your time back, you know, whatever it may be. Law library is always available no matter where you go, even in the county jails. All right, you don't have to be in prison in order to access the law library. Now, on this particular day, this person was inside the library. All right, I wasn't in there for law library, you feel me? I was in the library regularly. I was in there reading some damn Animal Planet magazines, National Geographics or some shit like that, you know? And you feel me? That's what I used to do to, you know, kill some time. You know, you ain't got nowhere to be. You ain't got no call out today. You don't have to be at work. You don't have to be at school. You can go to the library and you can go in there and you can either rent a couple books if you want, or you can hand them your ID for a little while and they'll give you a paperback magazine and you can literally sit there and you can read magazines while you're in there. So I used to go in there and I used to read magazines, you feel me, to kill some time. I used to do a lot of studying when it came to animals, you know, as far as like herpetology stuff, when it comes to like reptiles and amphibians and stuff like that. So I was in there reading a magazine, and we had this one officer that was always, you know what I'm saying, real piece of shit. Would always come in there and try you no matter where they seen you. You could be walking to the chow hall and you could be in a rush to get there before chow closes. You're looking at your watch to see if you can get there in time. And that officer could tell you're in a rush. He'll want to pull you over. Feel me? Come here. Put you up against the wall, pat you down, talk straight shit. Why your shirt ain't tucked in? Okay, why you got residue on your fingers? You be smoking? Okay, no, let me come to your door. Like, make a big incident of everything. Put you in handcuffs, kill time just because, oh, where you going? Chow hall. What are you going to chow hall for? I'm trying to catch chow before they close. Oh, you ain't going to make it today. And they were just, you know, he was just a real piece of shit, a real dickhead, you know. And those are the type of officers that actually deserve sometimes to get smacked in their shit and deserve to be dealt with, because they get away with so much bullying. You know, they get away with so much profanity that they use towards inmates, and, you know, they make it a lot harder on your time. You feel me? Now, don't get me wrong, when you're in prison, you ain't supposed to be enjoying yourself, but at the same time, people shouldn't be in there, as far as officers, shouldn't be in there treating you like shit because you broke the law, when what they're doing is breaking the law by the way they treat you like shit. You understand? So, this particular day inside the library, like I was saying, he ended up, you know, picking and choosing with this one dude who was actually in a rush to file a motion for his case. And when it comes to things like that, you know, people take that shit dead serious, especially if you have a deadline. So this person had a deadline. Like, he literally had to file this motion and get that shit submitted in time for him to either get back in court or, you know, whatever the motion was for. But he had a deadline. You know, you got to make sure you get that shit presented to the judge on the date or before the date in order to be heard, or else. And if it's got something to do with you going home soon, you know damn right well that shit's going to be a priority to you. You're gonna blur everything out that you got going on in there in order to focus on this damn packet or motion you have to file, because this could possibly be the only chance for you to find a loophole to go home, or, you know, something that can better your case to knock some of your time off, you know. So as we was all just chilling in there, he started yelling at the inmate. You know, he tried to tell the inmate, because another inmate was being loud in the library, and you're not supposed to be talking in the library. So since one inmate was being loud, he decided to take it out on all the inmates. So he told everyone, that's it, everyone go back to your dorm. So that inmate took it amongst himself to tell the officer, like, hey, wait, sir, like, I got a deadline, man, for my thing or whatever, I don't care. And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, man, I don't care, go back to your dorm. So the inmate wasn't willing to comply and go back to his dorm because he's like, I want to talk to a captain. Call white shirt. Because he wants to let him know, look, I have a deadline. I could see if I was being the problem and I was the one causing attention and disrupting and speaking in here and being loud, and then you're making me go back to my dorm. But you're literally making me go back to my dorm because another individual that I don't even know or has nothing to do with me, that's on the whole other side of the damn library causing a scene, is acting up. So you're making me go back to my dorm also. So basically you're interfering and you're putting a stop to my possible chance of getting out of here soon. You know, or possible chance of knocking some time off of my bid. You feel me? So he was explaining himself real, you know, politely to the officer. But like I said, you know, you got them officers that are dickheads. They want to be bullies. So he just kept talking shit. He's telling him, I'm not calling a white shirt. You get out of my library. This isn't your library. Should have never broke the law. And he's like, sir, I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm just letting you know today is the last day I have to turn this packet in for my motion. You know, he was talking real nice. The officer wants to jump up, grab him by his shirt, push him up against the wall, rough him up. Also, you don't want to listen, so you're disobeying me, disobeying a verbal order, disrespected, and shoves him all up against the bookshelf, puts his hands behind his back, and then he goes to pull the handcuffs out. Once he goes to pull the handcuffs out to cuff the inmate's like, man, get off me. You feel me? And he like slings him like, man, get the fuck off me. You know what I'm saying? And he backs up, and then the officer's like, oh, what are you gonna do? And he just kept selling out towards the inmate. And me, you know, I was thinking like, damn, they trying, bro. You feel me? Because now he's going to the confinement on the humbug. Like, you see it happen so much that people literally get put in handcuffs and get taken to confinement and get a box bid just for sticking up for themselves. You feel me? Like, he wasn't disrespecting that officer. He was literally being polite and explaining to the officer. And it was to the point to where the people that work in the library, like as far as the library workers and shit, like not just the inmates, but I'm talking about like the actual educational, you know, civilians, they weren't even saying anything. And they were to the point to where they felt like the officer was in the wrong, you know? And then next thing you know, he's like, what are you gonna do about it? What are you doing? And he acted like he was gonna grab the gas. And then he said, turn around and face the wall, And the dude turned around. When he turned around, all of us were like, damn, look, bro, he going to box on the house, bro. A real piece of shit officer, you feel me? Next thing you know, man, he turned around and he said, man, fuck this. And he threw his whole packet down of all of his papers. And he started like crying and screaming. He's like, I ain't do nothing wrong. You're sitting here yelling at me. You're trying me for something I didn't do. I shouldn't even be in prison. And he was like crying as he was yelling at the officer. And the officer's like, boy, you don't scare me. You don't scare me, inmate. And he kept, you know, adding more fuel to the fire. And once he went near that inmate, like he was going to touch that inmate turned like this and smacked the dog shit out of him. When I say smack the dog shit out of him, I literally mean that shit had an echo to it. Literally, like people across the motherfucking library heard that shit. A pat, you know? And then you look over, you see the officer, because he wore glasses, you feel me? But they weren't really glasses, they were just shades, so the sun wouldn't be in his eyes. You see them bitches fly across the thing. His hat came off of his head because he was wearing a hat, the officer. And guess what that officer did after that? He called the white shirt. He called a captain. He didn't do nothing to that inmate after that. Then, when he made it in, he radioed it that he was hit and all this shit. They came in there about 15, 20 deep, restrained that inmate, slammed that inmate, got like 5, 6 licks in on him while he was on the floor, you know what I'm saying, hitting him, put their knee in his back. Same things you see going on today in the real world that starts race wars. That's the same shit they were doing to him. Put their knee on his neck and all this different stuff. And he was basically, he didn't want to rap. He was like, when he was laying there, he was quiet. He wasn't saying shit. And then when he was walking, the white shirt's like, oh, you want to hit one of my officers? You want to hit one of my officers? The kitchen, the staff inside the library, not the kitchen staff, the library staff, they actually gave their statement and was saying that the officer was dead wrong. Because even though if someone's disruptive, you can take it out on everyone if you want to, But this dude literally had no way possible to be quiet and let it go, because this was his last chance to file this motion. And they was explaining that to the white shirt. The white shirt took their, information down and what they seen and all that shit, and tried to act like in front of all the other inmates that the inmate was right and they're going to solve this and they're going to get him out of confinement. But they didn't. You feel me? They just did that to keep everyone else down to a minimum, so no other inmates would buck wild or no other inmates would turn up over the bullshit that went down. You feel me? They tried to make it seem like they was against their own fellow officer when really they weren't. And then from one of my homeboys that was in confinement at the time, he was in the quad that they ended up bringing him into. And they put you in the shower before they put you in the box. And for 2 days straight, they went in that dude's cell and started beating his ass just for hitting that officer, for smacking the dog shit out that officer. You feel me? And from my personal view and the way I seen it, that shit was funny as hell. I felt like they should do that shit to officers more often, ones that deserve it. And I seen it happen and I couldn't believe it, because you could tell this person wanted to harm no one, bro. Literally, like, you could just tell, man. They were so, like, to their self that, 9 times out of 10, you never really know why they were in prison. But most likely, they didn't deserve to be in prison. You never really know. They could have been at the wrong place at the wrong time and been guilty due to circumstances. Certain, you know what I'm saying? So, by them to try to take advantage of him and do something like that, I don't feel like he was wrong. I'm gonna leave it up to y'all though to drop in the comment section. Y'all let me know if he was wrong. You feel me? Do y'all think that they should have, spared him, for the most part, and let him at least turn in his motion, let it get notarized right there, because he had to get it notarized and everything before he could send it in. So you go to the library, and in the law library section they have people that notarize. They have notaries and stuff. So do you think that they should have just let him do what he had to do, because due to his situation and circumstances of his case with the deadline, that they should have just let him file that packet? All this would have been avoided if they would have just let him do what he had to do. They could have threw everybody else out but him, or everybody out except for law library. Or the officer could have been a man and asked, is anyone in here got a deadline on their law library shit that they have to file? I feel like personally it could have been handled better like that. I feel like if he would have took the time to, let him do what he had to do, then all that shit would have been avoided. You know what I'm saying? And then after he got smacked by that inmate, guess what then? That officer lost all of his respect from any other inmate. All them inmates he used to yell at and act like he'll beat the dog shit out of and act like he was so hard and bully. Man, the whole compound knows you got smacked now, bro, and you ain't did nothing about it. That word traveled so quick, so many people were laughing about it and everything, that anytime he would try to put down on another inmate, they'd say, man, dog, don't make me smack you in this shit like what's his name did. All right, now I remember what happened to you in the law library now. Like, people would throw it in his face, you know what I'm saying, and make him remember, that you ain't want to call the white shirt when the inmate was asking you to call white shirt, because the captain most likely would have heard what he had to say and been like, oh yeah, nah, you could stay here. Everyone else out of the library. You feel me? But since that officer wanted to be a dick and didn't want to call the white shirt, that means that 9 times out of 10, he knew the white shirt was going to be against the call he was making. And it would have looked like he was wrong. He knew the white shirt would have spared that inmate and let that inmate turn his shit in because he had a deadline. You feel me? And it's tricky when it comes to these deadlines when you're mailing things home, because you don't know if there's going to be an error or a delay in your mail as it is. So you could be like, yeah, it's got to be there in 5 days. You don't know if there's going to be a delay, or they hold your mail somewhere else, and then next thing you know, it don't get there for 9 days. You see? So it's always a tricky situation when it comes to your mail. But I tell you what, when he smacked that officer in his mouth, that shit right there was like he did it for like everyone that officer ever messed with or ever bullied and anything like that. And, I felt bad because they beat his ass for the next 2 days, like I said, inside the box where no one could see him and everything. Beat his ass real good, and then never seen him again. He didn't come back on the compound. They transferred him. I mean, I don't know if they hit him with an ad charge or what they may have did, but they got him from around there. It shows no matter what you do, you're going to lose to the officers. Because in all reality, you're just visiting, you feel me? But that's their home. They own that shit. That's their compound, their institution. So they get away with a lot more, you feel me? And if a lot of inmates were to, finally say fuck it and decide to just start slapping the shit out of these officers, then, a lot more inmates won't take them serious, and they'll start respecting it more, you know. And I'm talking about the camp I was at, Charlotte. Our gang sergeant had $150 scars on his face, like he's been wet by inmates. He was the gang sergeant. He's had inmates rip his mouth open, all this stuff like that. So inmates do put their hands on officers, but a lot of officers get what they deserve, you understand? And they walk around with their chest poked out. They can't bully no one on the street, so they do it inside of prison. This is from my point of view. This was from my experience. I feel like that inmate did exactly what he should have did. That's how I feel. And like I said, the comment section's open. I want y'all to drop what y'all feel in there. Do y'all feel like it could have been handled better? Do you feel like he deserved to get his ass whooped afterwards? Do you feel like if they would have did what he asked, it could have all been avoided? Do you feel like the officer should have just been put in fucking timeout or something? You know, like, I want y'all to drop y'all's personal opinion. And this is for people who've been incarcerated that can get more of a feel of what it is I'm saying. And this is for people who ain't been incarcerated that are just going off of the visions that I'm putting in your head when I tell the story. What do y'all think? All right? Like I said, the comment section's open. But me, my personal opinion, that shit was funny as hell, and he did what he deserved to do. Y'all already know how it is when you see from a distance someone get knocked out, someone get dropped, someone get slumped, someone get rocked, someone be dazed, you know, all that shit. You know how it looks funny from another angle? That shit looked funny as hell to see that officer fly against that table like that. Off come the shades, off come his hat, and he was like so devastated and lost. His whole face just turned instantly red. He could not believe that this inmate just slapped the dog shit out of him, you know? And to me, I felt like, you know, he deserved that shit. And you know, when it comes to something like that, being smacked is way worse than being punched on a respect level, you feel me? Smacking someone's like, man, you a bitch. That's why I smacked you. You feel me? But that's what it is, man. Anyways, I appreciate y'all watching this video. Y'all stay tuned, man. You already know I got more of that real spill coming. I appreciate everybody rocking with me. Appreciate everyone that just joined my gaming channel over there, KFROG Gaming. Y'all want to tune in, hang out, catch me live. I go on there every single night. I'm going to eventually put some live videos together, some Q&As and shit over here on this channel. I just haven't thought of a date when to do it. I want to like break it down to where maybe I do it once a week or something like that, so I can hang out with y'all more, you know, live, answer y'all's questions and stuff like that. But I appreciate y'all watching this video. Make sure you hit that like button on the way out if you didn't hit it on your way in. Keep them snakes, squares, rats, and clowns out your circle. I say that almost every time I end the video. And until next time, this Frog.